Shri Matre Namaha. Welcome everybody to this iteration of Decrypting You through the Lalitā Sahasranāma. Thank you, Tanu, for that summary of the first two namas. Shri Mata, Shri Maharagni. Okay, so as we discussed last time, Shri Mata, basically the first nama, contains within itself the entire teaching of the Lalitā Sahasranāma. Shrim is the bija there. Shri is auspiciousness. Ma is to measure. Ta is the expression of Lakshmi. And essentially, Shri Mata is the description of the contraction of this immeasurable Lakshmi that is this creation, which then becomes measured into individuality, into this, into you, into me, into all of us. And then we also discussed how we look at the reverberation of the mantra here as the aham that continues in this particular nama. And then we discussed Shri Maharagni. So here is this immeasurable, which has no object or no description. So I can't say this is the immeasurable thing because it's not a thing. I cannot say this is the immeasurable person. It's not a person. I can't say this is the immeasurable anything because it's not a thing. Please understand that. Immeasurable as in it's beyond the mind. It's beyond measures of person, place, thing, or any objectification that is simply not possible, because anything you can objectify or name or label becomes measured. And immeasurable, Shri Mata is immeasurable. But she herself, now everything I'm telling you now, please hold with lightly because I'm going to come back to this. When I say she, don't have any particular ideas of he or she. Here I'm just saying she because there's no other way to describe this. This immeasurable becomes measured in individuality. But this immeasurable is Shri Maharagni. This is what rules over auspiciousness. Shri, auspicious, Maha, great, Ragni. Ragni means ruler, the queen. Shri Mata, Shri Maharagni. Okay, immeasurable becoming measured, the immeasurable that rules over all measures. So if there is a ruler, right? If there is a ruler that rules over their subjects, necessarily that ruler is superior to the subjects. You agree? You may protest against it. That's different. You may revolt against it. But the fact that there is a ruler ruling over their subjects means necessarily that ruler is superior. Yeah, got that? So Shri Maharagni, that auspiciousness is the one that rules over all measures. This immeasurable auspiciousness is the ruler of all measures. Now we come to the third nama, which is going to tell us, and then we'll put it all together and you'll have a mind-blowing understanding of this, I guarantee it. Shri Mata, Shri Maharagni, Shri Mat Simhasaneshwari. Don't write down, listen. Shri Mat Simhasaneshwari. Shri, again, here's this auspiciousness. Mat. Okay, Now, there are many meanings to this, to all these different roots. Mat in this context comes from the word mati. Mati is intellect. Okay, auspicious, mati, intellect. Simha asaneshwari. Simha means lion. Lion. Simhasana as a word refers to a throne. Because the great rulers of the past, they would sit on thrones that had, the heads of lions carved onto them. Basically saying this ruler is as powerful as a lion. Because the lion is the king of the jungle, right? The lion is the one that rules over the jungle. Right? It doesn't matter whether the monkeys and the deer and the elephants protest that. Right? The lion is still the king of the jungle. Right? It doesn't matter what the subjects think of it. Right? You remember the Lion King? It doesn't really matter what anyone else thought, right? The lion is the king. And so the king would sit on a throne with these inscriptions and the carvings of lion faces and so on to denote his, or if it was a queen, her superiority over this kingdom. So you can take it that way, which is how it ordinarily is looked at with regard to this nama, that she is the one that is sitting on this throne. Now, if you think of it this way, this is a very special throne of Lalita Devi, because this is not an ordinary throne. This throne not only is it the most powerful one that denotes her superiority, but this throne is actually made up of 5 entities that are also measures. What are these 5 entities that are measures? There is Brahma, who is the creator. Okay, he is one leg of this throne. Vishnu is the sustainer. He is the other leg of this throne. Then there is Rudra or Shiva, who is the destroyer, who is the third leg of this throne. And then there is another form of Shiva who's called Ishana, who is the one that conceals all of this. So right now in your experience, the sound of my voice is arising, it's there for a bit, and it's going away. If you really slow down your consciousness and listen to the sounds, you'll see that every sound is coming up, it's there, and it's going away. But it's Ishana's power of your mind that comes in trying to interpret and string together these very random sounds into words where you can't see that each sound is distinctly arising and falling. Arising and falling. This concealing power of Shiva is known as Ishana. And Ishana is the 4th leg of this throne, of the Simhasana of Devi. A throne requires these legs and it requires a seat. Now, just now when I told you, listen and see if you can discriminate or discern that every sound is coming up, it's staying and it's leaving. And for a second, you had that recognition, right? All of you had this recognition that, yeah, this is true, actually. That is the revealing power of Shiva called Sadashiva. In every moment of creation, all of these 5 powers are going on simultaneously. There's creation, sustenance, destruction, and there is this concealing power that makes it all look like it's going on in some kind of a sequence. And then there is this recognition, if we stop and see that actually that's not the case. And Devi is sitting on such a throne because she's the one that rules over all of these elements of creation. Because if there is an element of creation that is responsible only for creation, there's one that is for sustenance, there's one for destruction, one for concealing, one for revealing. They're all different measures, isn't it? They're all different parts. It's like taking a circle, right? Taking a circle which has no parts in it, and you're splitting it into parts to make sense of it. Devi is immeasurable. And she rules over even these measures, the primary drivers of creation, and not some creation somewhere else, right now. Right in this moment, whatever is happening, she's the one that rules over it. Shri Mat Simha Asana Ishwari. Ishwari means the supreme ruler. So now if you look at it in a very traditional way, you can say Shri Mat Simhasaneshwari. She is that power that rules over all 5 aspects. But there's always something hidden here, and that's what I want to explore here. Simha, the reason that a lion rules over the jungle is because of this very important characteristic or attribute, at least the way we see it, which may not be true in the lion's experience, but the way we experience the lion is bravery. It's courage. What do you see when you see a lion? Do you feel like, this is why you see all these memes, right? There's a cat looking in the mirror, and then the cat is saying to itself, well, I'm a lion. What's the difference between a house cat and a lion? What is that attribute? It's that fierceness. And where does that fierceness come? Where does that come from? What is this fierceness? It's bravery. It's courage. Courage to do what? Courage to see past the measured. Courage to see past whatever keeps us in the realm of the measured. Now, what keeps us in the realm of the measured? Mind, memory, and the energies that get stuck in fear and hope. Energies that are stuck in fear and hope. Fear and hope come from the past, projected into the future. Past does not exist because just now I told you it does not exist, right? It's Ishana, the concealing power that creates the effect of time, of psychological time. In fact, your past does not exist anywhere. You can't find it in you. If I sliced you open and dissected every part of you, I will not be able to find your past there. And yet, we are all a product of our past experience. Experience is happening continuously. But we keep giving meaning to that experience according to our past in order to create a better future. Yes or no? Experience is continuously happening. Things happen and then they go. But we hang on to it. At the time that it happens, we don't have the capacity to process it, which is why we go for the rest of our lives sometimes trying to give a different meaning to the past through various modes. We come to spirituality to find a different meaning for the past that does not exist. Ask yourself this question very honestly. Why did you come to spirituality? To make sense of your past, right? Essentially, we all do this. We are trying to give ourselves a better past. Through applying different meanings to something that was essentially random and meaningless. There's no inherent meaning in anything that happens to us. And yet we search for a meaning in all our endeavors, again and again and again. I'll try to do something better with my life so that my past can look better. And then I'll go seek something else in order to give a different meaning to that past. Have you noticed, as you keep evolving, your interpretation of your past keeps on changing? You give different meanings to it. If it's a meaning that makes sense to you, it calms you down, you feel better. If it's a meaning that triggers you, as in somebody else comes in front of you and triggers that very thing that you did not process, you'll have a hissy fit. Essentially, this simha, this lion, is the lion of the intellect that needs to go there, that needs to look at things as they are. The ability to look at things as they are requires the courage of a lion. Because that courage comes from understanding this, first of all, this nama really well, which is Srimad Simhasaneshwari, and tracing back and saying Sri Maharagni, the throne, that auspiciousness that rules over everything. And no matter what meaning I give to anything, it will still be in the measured category. You're simply making one measure a better measure. That is not Sri Mata, because she is beyond all measures. We then understand the idea of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva in our own consciousness. How things are created, how things are sustained through this idea of a memory, through this concept of Ishana, that connects one thing to another to make it into a string and gives it a meaning. And then there is another meaning to these three namas. There's another meaning to this. Sri Mata is the creation. This creation of all of this, of this world, of this universe, of me, of everything. Sri Mata, Sri Maharagni, it's the ruler that sustains. It's the ruler that has to sustain the kingdom. Srimat Simhasaneshwari, it is through this mat. Mat means also to destroy, to annihilate. So many different meanings to this, right? Sri Mata, Sri Maharagni, Srimat Simhasaneshwari. She is that power of the intellect that is like a lion that can go in there and destroy what we have been sustaining. What we have been sustaining through our illusion of everything that we have put together. How have we put together? Where is all this? Where is all this occurring? Next nama. Chidagni Kunda Sambhuta. The fourth nama. Chit Agni Kunda Sambhuta. Chit means consciousness. Chit also means, Chit is consciousness, but Chit also means fire. It's the pyre, the funeral pyre. Agni is the power of transformation. Chit Agni Kunda. Kunda means the pot, the source of that Agni. Chit Agni Kunda Sambhuta. Sambhuta means, Sambhuti means the origin. It's a superhuman power. Chit Agni Kunda Sambhuta. Okay? Chit. Chit also means, in this tradition, it is this internal landscape. The internal, it's no, as the internal landscape, it's called Chitti. Okay, Chitti. And it is in this internal landscape that we have going on our thought, emotions, memory, and all the energetic flows that are going on, the prana, the flows in the, however you want to think about it, in the nadis, in the chakras, however you want to think about it is quite irrelevant. All of that is happening in Chit, in this internal landscape. And the reason that we can't get past things is because we lack Agni, the power of transformation. This power of transformation is what Devi is, who comes from the source, Kunda. Where have you heard this word Kunda? Kundalini. This is Kundalini. As the fire of transformation, as the power of transformation of the Chitti, she arises as Kundalini from the source and exerting so much superhuman effort because it is easier to stay entrapped in our patterns. Very, 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 very extremely hard to go past that, to go against the grain of our conditioning. Extremely hard, yes? Have you noticed? Even though you have looked all your life to give a different meaning to your past, anytime it is triggered, you react in the same way. Because all the meanings that we have been trying to give to our past comes from the prefrontal cortex, comes from the ability to reason. And it's not reasoning that's going to change the Chitti. Reasoning only goes so far. You cannot beat emotion with logic. Have you tried it? Has it worked well for you? Can you beat emotion with logic? Imagine if we could do that. You cannot become enlightened, you cannot become awake through reading books and understanding them. That transformation has to occur at the energetic level. It has to occur at the source, and it has to occur through a superhuman effort. She is that superhuman effort who comes as this, who arises as this power of transformation within each of us. To do what? Deva Karya Samudyata. Deva. Deva means, you've heard of the Devas and the Asuras. So Devas are the forces of harmony. Asuras are the forces of disharmony. So if you have taken the Lalitā Sahasranāma course, or you've read the book, or any book, or you have read the the story of the Lalitā Sahasranāma, you know that this whole thing arises because the Devas lose to the Asuras. They lose this war, this battle against the Asuras, and they go into a deep depression, and they invoke Devi in this fire pit. And Devi comes on her chariot. It's a beautiful story. And I've narrated this many times of course, in the book, Glorious Alchemy, in the course, The 1,000 Names of Lalita, as well as the course, Glorious Alchemy. I suggest you read it, or you listen to it, or if you already know it, reflect on it. Deva karya samudyata. What is the karya means? Their work. What is the function of the devas? The function of the devas is to establish harmony. How do you establish harmony? Not through the intellect, by giving a different meaning to things. You establish harmony by removing the concealing power of your life and seeing things as they are. The asura's job is to keep concealing and creating more confusion. Deva karya samudyata. Samudyata. See, there is no word that is, added unnecessarily. Samudya means to exert. Samudyata means to rise against. So it says Deva Karya Samudyata. So Devi, as this power of transformation, rises against everything that is holding back the devas. It's not like, the devas have to be taught anything new. The power of harmony, the forces of harmony that are within us, they are simply being covered over. We need to rise, we need to allow these devas to rise against them, against these forces that are concealing reality. What is reality? The immeasurable. Everything that conceals the immeasurable. What is everything that conceals the immeasurable? Everything that is measurable, isn't it? All measures simply cover the immeasurable. And for this immeasurable to come forth, nothing new needs to be done. Nothing new needs to be added. Only the measured needs to be removed, or at least seen through. And Devi arises as this. Now, one of the biggest problems I see in upasakas, or the worshippers, or the ones that are in this bhakti marga, is to deify the goddess, to make an idol out of this, or an ideal out of this goddess or a god, like this is something out there. Like Devi is sitting in front of me and she is a separate entity. She is all this, and I am just here worshiping her. As long as we have this mentality, we will make some progress because, we are in this mode of bhakti. But for true transformation to happen, for this fire of transformation to actually do what it needs to do, and for us to realize, understand in our own personal direct experience what this stotram is telling us, we have to internalize these forces. That's why this series is called Decrypting You, not decrypting the Lalitā Sahasranāma. Devi does not require any decrypting. Thank you very much. It is we who require it. Decrypting you through the Lalitā Sahasranāma. Shri Mata, Shri Maharagni, Shrimat Simhasaneshwari, Chitagni Kunda Sambhuta Deva Karya Samudyata. I am the immeasurable. I am the auspicious, immeasurable. I am the one that rules over all of my landscape, of my experience. I am the one that sits on the throne, and I'm willing to go into the experience. I'm willing to let go. I'm willing to let go of the measurable. Because I am that courage of the lion. And it is in me, in my chitta, it is in my chid that this power of transformation is occurring, arising from its source. I am the source. And it is through this that arises in me that I can overcome the asuras in me and aligned with the actions of the devas. Shri, Shri, Shri. Take the first letters of each of these 5 namas and you have the entire Lalitā Sahasranāma. Shri, Shri, Shri. Auspicious, auspicious, auspicious. Add one more to that because all of them have this. Shrim, Shrim, Shrim. This is the Bija mantra of the universe. This is the Bija mantra that we will arrive at when all measures have been taken away. Chidagnikunda Sambhuta. Ch, chi. Because see, in Sanskrit, it is the syllable, chi. Deva Karya Samudyata, the. Shri or Shrim, 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 Chit. This is not somewhere else. My Chit, my consciousness is this. My consciousness is inherently auspicious. My consciousness is inherently powerful, rules over all of this apparatus. And if I can arrive at this through mantra, through the power of sound, that is the path of Sri Vidya. Because Sri Vidya means the auspicious mantra. Vidya means the mantra of a feminine deity. And it's the auspicious mantra of Lalita Devi. Or I can arrive at it through a form, and that is the form of the Sri Chakra. What are these measurables? The Sri Chakra tells us. How do I overcome that? The Sri Chakra tells us. Where is this, or what is the power of transformation that I need to bring about? The Sri Chakra tells us. It's a complete science. If I do it through sound, it is a path of mantra. If I do it through form, and again, understanding this in a radical way that touches not just the intellect, but touches the emotional self and the energetic self through mantra or through yantra. And when both yantra and mantra come together into this transformation, Chidagni Kunda Sambhuta, arising together and fighting against the norm, that is known as Tantra. So, luckily for you, we have our online Navratra course or Navratra immersion coming up in June. And as you know, we have been doing these Navratra immersions starting in January. In January, we did half of the Shakti Rising course. So it's basically you take a self-study course and there's a facilitation through it and a deeper understanding of something, whatever it is that we are doing. And in June, for the Navratra, we will be exploring the Sri Chakra through the Fractals of Reality self-study course. It's going to be led by Joanne, who is an incredible upasika of the Sri Chakra, and myself, of course, and some of the other senior students. And this is how you deconstruct this stuff of the Chitti and become a lion through the application of this Vidya to deconstruct all those measurables, to align ourselves again and again with Sri Mata. Okay, so first 5 namas have everything you need to know about the entire Lalitā Sahasranāma, only if you apply it. If you feel like this is an academic study, it's not going to help you. But if you apply it, big things can happen. So, and again, you know, some of the other programs that we have going on, particularly the Renegade method of self-inquiry, is the deconstruction of the measurable. So I'll stop here and see if you have any questions. But again, please don't ask random questions. If you have questions related to these namas, I'm very much interested in having a discussion or a dialogue, because we will come to the other namas later. Also, we will not be doing nama by nama, just doing this whole thing like this, and then we will get into themes to give you a better idea of how to work with this Sahasranāma. So do you have any questions? Okay. So thank you everyone for joining us, and we will see you at our next session, which is going to happen June 18th, is it, Tanu?
Yes, June 18th, 1 p.m. EST.
Perfect. We will see you then. And wait, I just want to make sure. Ishana is concealing and the Asura is also correct. Yes. Thank you everyone for joining us. Please do contemplate this and try to, you know, apply this to your own experience. And the first order of business is to internalize it. Say, Shri Mata is in you. You are that. Start with that. That is how I would go about doing it, rather than making it all about a Devi that we give an image to and we create a whole story about it. But that was never meant to be that way. That whole story, this whole Sahasranāma, all of this is for us to see things within us. And we start with that. Okay? Take it easy. Srimate Namaha.